Yeager, how are you doing, sir?
Good, sir. How are you doing today?
Awesome,
It's a beautiful
awesome.
day out
It
there.
is. I wish you guys could see this view. It looks pretty amazing. So let's get to know Ken a little bit. So, for those of you who don't know, first off, Yeager, where did you go to high school? What was high school before San Jose State and then Stanford, correct?
That is correct. I had the misfortune of being born in Riverside in Southern California. So I left there as soon as I could at 18 and came up here to San Jose to go to San Jose State. And for the most part, have been here all my life.
It's wonderful. And then after San Jose State was Stanford. What made you decide to do political science at San Jose State?
I was always very interested in journalism and politics when I was in junior high school and high school. Student body president, editor of the school newspaper.
Awesome.
There was a lot of activism, when I was in high school. So always very interested in politics. And so when I came up here as a political science major, took a lot of poli-sci courses and had a great professor that many of us know, Dr. Terry Christensen,
Okay.
who specializes in local government. And so started doing internships with elected officials at City Hall and then worked on campaigns. So by the time I graduated, felt I was pretty grounded in politics and knew I wanted to make it a career.
And we'll backtrack to that, but then comes sociology. You got your MA in sociology at Stanford.
That's right.
What made you go into that? Just studying people. In all honesty, what was my brother did sociology at UC Santa Cruz as well. What kind of gave you a knack for that with sociology?
Well, just to back up a little bit.
Sure. Oh,
yeah,
there's so much to back up on.
there you go.
You guys have no idea how excited I was for this. I don't think Mr. Yeager gets enough credit for everything he's done, everything he's accomplished, and I feel like he's done it in a cool, calm, collective way in that. So we'll get to all of that, but sure, let's back up all the way to the Evergreen College.
Wow, we are backing up. But let me just sort of say so. I graduated from San Jose State, start working in local government, worked for Congressman Don Edwards here for a number of years, go back to Washington, D.C., come back here. And at that point, now I'm about 32. And it was great being a political staffer. We enjoyed it very much, but I knew I didn't want to sort of do that forever. And so that's when I applied to Stanford and get accepted. And so it was doing all of that. Then I get the master's in sociology. And then as you sort of move forward, you just sort of pick up degrees
Right.
as a graduate student.
That was going to be my next question is, how do people out there, you went on to get a PhD in education after that, what gave that thirst, what gave that drive? And hello to Danny. Danny's joining us right now as well. But I mean, what exactly, people who get their PhDs, right? I feel like they hit that hump after and they fall in love and they just continue on through. What made you think, okay, you know what, I want to focus on education and get my PhD at Stanford there? It was just keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great. Stanford was kind enough to pay for it all.
Okay.
So
Very cool.
5 years on their dime.
We're going to get to
was
that.
Great.
And now they allow people who make under a certain amount of income to actually get their education for free, correct, at Stanford.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in New York in a second. And then later, you go on to Harvard, a JFK program for senior executives. I thought that was pretty brilliant. What was that like, that experience like? You went all the way to East Coast.
Yeah, no, that was nice. Really with the John F. Kennedy School, you can imagine a lot of it was organizational leadership.
Huge hero of mine. I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
To the degree, we won't get into that. It's a whole other second. But amazing.
Amazing, yeah, for a whole month in the summer with other leaders across the country, with great professors coming in and a lot of different workshops and seminars, and just sort of creating a network of people throughout the country, and some of whom I still in contact with, and just trying to figure out how to become a leader, how to be more effective, how to engage more people in the community.
Just evolving, improving yourself.
Yeah,
like a true triathlete would, right? Then you're on the board of trustees of education with San Jose Community College.
San Jose
San Jose City College, excuse me,
Evergreen Valley.
Evergreen Valley College. What was that like for you? Well, first off, for people who had no idea, what kind of decisions are you really in control of? Is it the curriculum? What is your day to day for somebody who's on the board of trustees?
Yeah, so we'll back up just a little bit
Could
again.
you grab a water for me whenever you get a chance? I apologize.
So I get my my PhD from Stanford,
Yes.
and so very very lucky to then get hired at San Jose State in the political science department.
Yep.
And
you still periodically teach, by the way, but you did that for 12 years.
That's right. So
I did my homework.
So you did. So we're gonna. At this point, you're at an A-. So we'll see if we'll get you to an A because you always got the strive. You always have the strive.
Okay.
Love
it.
So I noticed teaching that there's a lot of students who've come in from the community college schools and understood that a number of them were having problems, struggling, trying to sort of keep up. I also knew that
financially.
No, more academically.
Okay.
And that a lot of folks, when they would transfer, would end up not graduating with a 4-year degree.
Right.
And so that got me very interested in the community college system and seeing if it was doing as good of a job preparing students for those who wanted to go on to a 4-year degree as they were. And so that really is what led me to run for the community college board. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know that we elect folks from the community college board of trustees to sort of set policy. And so while I was there, then was able to work with the administration.
Yeah. Why do you think that is, Ken? Is it academic probation in the first 2 years? All the CSU, the first 4 years, people get that? Or you felt that they were more struggling in that way, right?
Yeah, I think, community colleges are great, but they may not be as academically rigorous as a 4-year university. And so as they transfer, they're with their peers who've already been 2 years at San Jose State or whatever 4-year college they are. Mm-hmm. And I think that they aren't quite ready to certainly not all of them, but a certain percentage aren't ready to sort of compete and then fall behind pretty fast. And so it was just trying to make sure that we were giving them the background and the education and all of the things that they needed prior to getting to a 4-year university so they could succeed.
And to have counselors that are going to let them know about
Absolutely.
CSU, UC standards, and so forth. So what comes next after that? If I'm not mistaken, you made the jump for state assembly straight after your time there. What was the thought process behind? I like it. But there was something right behind. You went second to Mike Honda. Did you go state assembly right away? Or was it San Jose City Council first?
Yeah. So I get elected to the community college board in in '92.
Okay.
And then in March of '96, there's the primary for state assembly, and so I run for that. Well, maybe I need a drink of water here.
Exactly. Yeah. So you still biking to work?
Yes, absolutely. And there's the bike party tonight. Okay. So that'll be fun.
Where is that? Is that downtown?
Yeah, basically.
Is that the glow in the dark type thing?
Yeah. It's sort of a rave party, so that'll be fun. So yes, still biking, and also to make the pitch, there's Via Calle on Sunday.
Yes. Yeah, Magdaleno, right?
Where they close the street. Yeah, it's going to be huge. So yeah. So it's still fun to go biking. Yeah, so state assembly, unsuccessful.
I'm going to come out. I'm just go straight for governor.
All right. All right.
And you try to laugh, lighten up back here, guys. You guys are killing me. No, we have two
You're a tough audience.
No, it's all good. It's all good. And who are you, peeps? This is people love the behind the scenes here. This is Brian and Jason. But shout out to Jim. Jim, you're not here. You're missing out. So back to it. I love throwing you off. State Assembly District 20 or the 23rd, 24th?
I think it was 24th. Okay. I think the numbers have changed, but
I love failure. I love adversity. Things didn't work out for you, but what did that teach you looking back? Because there's a lot. We can all learn from someone like yourself who's accomplished it yourself. What was that experience like? You said it was 92 or 96?
It was 96.
So you're much younger and dumber, as we like to say.
I was both of those things. Both of those things, yes.
I'm still there. But talk to me about that in all honesty. What was that like for you? You're going up against Mike. How was that experience for you?
Well, it was a bit of a leap. Certainly I'd been around in politics and campaigns, but it really was a great experience. I got to know a lot of people, ran a very good campaign, a lot of people in the larger political community.
Yeah, you're meeting all the bigwigs. Hello, Dolores, as well. Hopefully, Dolores, you can hear us. Let me just double check in. I think I actually put it on silent here. I just want to make sure the volume's all the way up, so you can probably hear us way better. Is that better, Bren? Give us a thumbs up or a like if that is. But awesome. So you get to see the bigwigs. You're exposed to everybody, as you were saying.
Yeah, and all of that then certainly assisted me when I ran for city council in 2000, and along with all of the community work that I had been doing in the district, really prepared me for that race.
And you got to meet everyone as well, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, gosh, so many accomplishments. I don't know where to start. I'm excited for this one. Let's talk about nutrition. You helped pass something that specifically shows calories and to make sure that they're able to be identified in restaurants. For those who don't know, my family's in the Subway business, so I remember being a little kid literally helping my dad have to put the calories on the menus when they showed up. Little did I know. This is the man who helped enforce that, and childhood obesity is an epidemic. So to me, that's a real change. That's awesome change. Obviously, it was a no-brainer, right?
Right.
People who don't know, what was the process to get something like that passed completely for dummies from the basics? So you have to bring that up to the rest of your colleagues in the board of supervisors, correct?
Yeah.
They voted and passed something like that, and it's immediately incorporated. Is that to put it simply?
Yeah, pretty much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wonderful. And then what are your thoughts on that? Is there anything else down the pipeline in terms of nutrition that you guys have planned, that you guys are working on?
Well, one of the things that people don't quite understand about county government, separate from city government, is so therefore this that counties are sort of in. One of the things we're in charge of is health, particularly sort of public health.
Yes.
We have the hospital, we have the community clinics, and
you're the head of the hospital community committee and the human services committee.
We break up.
I was busy, man.
We break up our responsibilities by committees, and I've always been interested
it's awesome stuff.
in health. And we know that, as you just said, that there's an epidemic with childhood obesity.
Yep.
Basically, 1 out of 4 of all of our children are either overweight or obese. We're seeing kids coming into our clinics with illnesses that they should not be having, all based on being overweight and lack of exercise. And so part of it is that the fast food industry really sort of promotes these happy meals. Come in for a happy meal and you get a toy. And so the kids are,
and it's not just the kids, by the way, right?
Some adults as well. But,
and why do you think that is? Do you think it's food specifically? I've had this argument as well. Obviously, exercise is going to help with us, but I just feel like I go to Spain, I go to Barcelona, everybody in general, in my opinion, just doesn't seem, I don't know, as large. Do you think that it actually has to do, I've had these debates with the laws, like the European Union doesn't allow certain chemicals and ingredients, well, we do. I'm sure it's a combination of both, right? And
this is a hard community. Everybody's working too much. You don't have one of the parents staying at home and perhaps cooking. You don't have a lot of fruits and vegetables available. And so, these companies really know how to market to kids. And so, it's the latest, the movie that's out, and then you get the stick figure and whatever.
Drive-throughs.
Yeah, drive-throughs. And the amount of calories and sodium and fat in these meals for kids are just, over and above what they need. I mean, oftentimes there'll be one of these meals that really will be the full amount of calories that kids should consume in the entire day. And so what we were trying to do is sort of de-link these toys from these Happy Meals. And so the county then passed an ordinance that said that to be able to have any sort of toy associated with any of these type of Happy Meals, they need to meet certain nutritional standards. And most of them then couldn't, and so they didn't provide the toy for free. The parent could buy the toy, but it just wasn't part of the Happy Meal.
And did that move and transition to the entire menu, right? Which slowly became...
Yeah, and so Yeah, and then we were one of the very first jurisdictions that required the menu calorie labeling as well. And so we've just really been trying to sort of make this effort. Other things we've done is to have these hydration stations put in parks.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And in schools. This is where you put
water
your
bottle
and water
refills.
comes down. Because if you're going to tell kids, and families, don't drink sugar sweetened beverages and all the Coca-Colas and stuff, but you don't make an alternative available like water. They got to be readily available. And certainly in a lot of schools and in parks, the water faucets would be so grungy that who would ever want to drink out of it? And so these are much better. You get the purified water. And so it just sort of makes it better.
Karen just joined us. Is this your Karen? Is that Karen Kelly?
I'm guessing.
Okay. How's it going, Karen? Thought you were going to be here. But let's move on here. So next thing I want to talk about, and you're doing amazing, by the way. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for taking the time to do this. Here's a sketchy one. Let's shift to transportation. So what's going on with transportation exactly? Are there any improvements with Caltrain? I know there was some commotion. I was reading the thoughts to electrify Caltrain. Is there anything planned down the pipeline? And what does that mean exactly?
Well, yes. The good news is that Caltrain has gotten all of the funding it needs for electrification. The EIR has been done. The contracts have been rewarded. When we needed one more approval from the Secretary of Transportation to get the federal dollars that we needed, and then it was all set to go. President Trump takes office, and then all of a sudden they sort of put a hold on all of these federal grants. And so,
I was hoping that name wasn't going to come up during the talk, but it has to. It's inevitable.
Sorry. And
so he puts a hold on all these.
Yes. And so all of a sudden we were so close to being able to get the funding that we needed that we had to sort of do an all-out pitch. Everybody flying to Washington, trying to deal with members of Congress and the Secretary of Transportation. All of this to be able to get the agreement signed, and which was done. So that was sort of the very last hurdle. Persistence and a full court press, but everybody sort of working together. So we weren't duplicating our efforts or giving different messages. So anyway, everything's in place, and we're starting to work on electrification of Caltrain. It's, obviously, it will take a number of years to be able to do.
Just simple terms. What exactly does electrification mean aside from the straight neutral track? Would this be new routes?
No, it's the exact same route that it's on.
Okay. Extension.
Continuing on, but so instead of diesel run engines,
got it. That's
it's going to be electric, and so the wires will be overhead, and everything will be changed to be electric. But it just scores much better for the environment. But it means that you can run more trains, faster trains, and have greater capacity. And as it stands now, Caltrain is just, because it's so hard to commute by car, people are sort of flocking to the trains, which is great, but they're really very overcrowded. And that creates any number of delays or whatever. So electrification really is.
Which brings me to another one that everybody is not frustrated about, but it brought up to me, the high-speed rail. I know I've been through Gilroy, and they're like, this thing's never going to get done. The difference between the high-speed rail is, I guess, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, Ken, it's supposed to kind of hit the inside coast of the Merced, etc. area, and then connect through to Gilroy. Any thoughts or anything brought up with that? Are you familiar with it? It's okay if you're not. Okay, you are.
Yeah, and some of it is as it comes through Santa Clara County.
Yes.
Exactly where that alignment is going to be. Is it going to be through downtown Gilroy or a little farther east? What disruption might it cause when it comes through San Martin? Again, because it would sort of come downtown through there. And
that's a huge project. Realistically, it's going to take a lot of time.
It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money. And then sort of what's the alignment when it comes through downtown San Jose and hits Diridon Station? And so a lot of that still is being debated. The board will be weighing in as far as what we think is the preferred route through here. This is still a long ways away as it sort of comes up through the Central Valley.
And it's one of those things that people understand. I mean, nothing happens overnight, right? This is something that will hopefully be completed while we're still around.
That's right.
And we're still alive. So, but that's all wonderful stuff, great stuff. I have so many questions. I'm not even sure where to begin here. So let's. I want to get your thoughts on Finland. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. So this is, the debate. Oh, you're smiling.
Yeah,
He is familiar with
no,
it.
I'm not familiar with Finland, but
No. So this is they did a case study to reduce homework, increase recess in elementary education. I just want to get your personal thoughts on that. And I'm just Brian's nodding that he's familiar. And you have a PhD in education. I'll send this to you after. Basically, they went from the bottom of the ranks, Ken, all the way to the very top and #1 in test scores. And that's one of the only things they did was do that. You have no control. There's no relevancy in that to you at all. I was talking to the Evergreen Elementary School District on that. Do you feel that that our schools could be possibly open too long or standardized? There is some legislation put in place to shorten school times. You're not on the buzzer here. This is just a personal opinion from your experience. What are your personal thoughts?
Well, I think first and foremost, we need to do more with early childhood education, early childhood learning, so these kids will have a better start. I think in particular areas of our community, kids are behind once they even start kindergarten, first grade, and I think we need to put more of an effort on that. Certainly by the time they're in third grade, if they're sort of falling behind, we know that the odds that they won't graduate become very high. So I think there's a lot of things that we need to do, being interested in sort of seeing what they're finding with maybe the shorter school day or the longer recess or what goes on once they're actually in school. But I think we also need to really focus in on preschool as well.
Wonderful. One other thing, I listed some of the accomplishment and captions earlier on Instagram and through, but let's start with 2015. So you crafted some programs to collect and properly dispose of pharmaceuticals and medical sharps and require pharmaceutical companies to help cover those costs. That's awesome.
It is awesome.
How does one go about that to actually executing out the plan, right? Because this would have to be in hospitals, so these are the containers we see and so forth and stuff like that. How does one go across putting that in? How did that come about for you? And you thought that was something that was interesting that could be implemented?
Yeah, no, all of these things are not easy. It's easy to sort of pass something, but there's
to actually execute.
Yeah,
the idea is easy. Right?
And so we knew that there were very few places where you could actually dispose of these sharps, and you didn't want them in the regular trash can that they would then go out to the landfills.
Homeless people,
any number of things, but there wasn't really any place for people to dispose them, and so some of it too. There was the sharps, but there was also the expired drugs, and so where do you sort of put those? You don't want to flush the toilet, the pills down the toilet, or again have them in the landfill, but it wasn't easy to come up with locations and places to deposit them. Mm-hmm. And so we were working with a lot of the pharmacies.
How did you do that? You got the pharmaceutical companies to cover the cost.
We had to do that. We had to find the right location. We had to do this. We had to do that. We had to make sure that it was secure. You didn't want to have a situation where people were putting these expired drugs in and having somebody kept them. And so they had to be very secure. So anyway, we were able to sort of work through that, work out with the industry and with the pharmaceutical companies as well as the pharmacies, and now in any number of places throughout the county, you can dispose of them. And so
I love it, guys. This gentleman's a beast. And then you also took on Big Tobacco.
Big Tobacco.
Extend. That must have been an easy one.
That was not as easy.
To 21, from 18 to 21.
Right.
The reasons are obvious. What was powerful, I think, when for us, what was that like? If you can give some insights, I'm sure there was some resistance towards that getting it moved to 21, or was there not? Was the opposite pretty clean and easy to get that moved to 21 and get it incorporated? There was no flack and no nothing.
There's always flack.
Here.
No, there's always flack, and
This PR guys, you're giving me the eyes in the background here. They're like,
I have been very.
God, Roman, you're killing me.
I've been very strong in my anti-tobacco, anti-smoking work.
That's why I'm here right now. You're always transparent, and you stand up for things.
Yeah.
And that's self-awareness. That takes cojones, excuse my language. Wait a minute, this is my show. I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
But I love that about you.
Yeah, and so we have in Santa Clara County some of the most stringent anti-smoking, anti-tobacco ordinances anywhere in the country. Anywhere in the country. And one of the many things that we have is a restriction on smoking in multi-family units,
Outdoor restaurants,
all of that, because that secondhand smoke, certainly goes through the ventilation in these housing units, and so you can't smoke there. You smoke outside, which is certainly fine, but made it much harder to get a hold of tobacco cigarettes, e-cigarettes, the flavored tobacco products, and so now you have to go into the stores that basically sell tobacco like cigars, but you have to be 21 to be able to go into them. Made it harder.
Time is a beautiful thing. I think back to Mad Men and how we were like in the 60s and 70s, and doctors are examining you just smoking cigarettes.
I know. Yeah, Mad Men was great. They were just smoking everywhere.
Right, but it takes time for us to realize these things, and things change. Right, JFK always said change is a law. We have to go about these things. So homelessness has been a big issue. I saw that pop up in 2013. There was some ordinances you put specifically with HIV and AIDS. What kind of spurred that in 2013? So you wanted expanded testing, and by increasing public awareness, there's just obviously investing in marketing, investing in campaigns. I would say education is the key to the change of perception. You felt that was one of the ways, right? That's very important, getting that out there. Yeah. When did that roll out? That kind of rolled out.
Well, a lot of that's just tied to sexual health. And certainly everything we can do to stop the spread of HIV/AIDS, I think we as a community have an obligation to do that. I have led the effort for the county to have what they call a Getting to Zero campaign, zero infections, zero stigma, and zero deaths because of HIV. And so we're just trying to explain to people that now there's medicine people can take so that they won't become infected by HIV. It's called PrEP. It takes a bit of advertising and education to sort of explain to the community what that is, as well as to the primary physician, so they feel comfortable in prescribing it.
Yep. That's why I'm doing this. I feel it's important to spread awareness, and people actually know they now feel that they almost personally know Ken, right? A lot of people may not even know that you exist, let alone the amount of things you've done for us.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So let's talk about these millennials. You started voter outreach. Apparently 94, I'm 87. 94 is the cutoff line for these so-called millennials. But you created some better voter outreach programs to get people involved and with voting. I'm sure your great PR team was behind all of that. What was how do you get through to these kids? Is there anything specifically you guys did with this voter outreach program?
Well, the very beginning of it was to make sure that people get registered.
Right.
And we have so many people who had become citizens but may not have registered. You have all the folks that turn 18 who haven't registered. And so what we did was we sort of did an RFP that we just sent out so that any nonprofit group could apply for the money so that they could then do voter registration and voter outreach in their communities. And so a lot of that was organizations that were on community colleges to be able to register folks, but people in the African American community, the Asian American community, Hispanic groups as well, San Jose State. So we were able to sort of have this big effort where we had students mainly who would then go out and register people to vote, and then try to track them so we could then make sure that they were able to vote. So we just wanted to, there's nothing more important in a democracy than voting, right. And to really feel like you're connected to the whole process and you have a stake in it. It certainly all starts by registering and then voting.
Right. I couldn't agree more. This universal screening for I was reading last night, developmental disabilities in pediatric settings in 2014. If you could elaborate a little bit on that for those who are watching and listening. So your phone died. I've been there. That is okay. My live, I'm gonna paste it onto a different stream later, which is great. But the most important thing is that's why I always have this thing rolling in the background, and this is what we'll be throwing up on YouTube. So do not worry, sir. We're still gonna get the word out regardless. As far as pediatric settings, I cut you off with those. Disabilities. For anybody who may not know, what was that exactly? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, very important, and I'm very proud of it. I've been, a lot of things that I've been able to do on the 10 and a half years on the Board of Supervisors that I'm very proud of, but that certainly is one of them. We can pick up what they call developmental delays in kids at a very early age. And so if you could if kids aren't responding to certain aspects of their lives at a certain point in their life, then you know that perhaps something is missing. And that oftentimes it can be as simple as bad eyesight, or it could be some sort of other developmental delay that is causing it. It could be, social based. It could be any number of things. Right. And so if you could, absolutely. And so if you could intervene early and try to correct it, that means as they get older, then they won't sort of have that learning disability that's really going to harm them later. But it really takes quite a bit of effort to do this sort of developmental screening. And so you have to create the tool, you have to have often the nurse in the clinic to be able to do it, and the doctor's got to follow it, and the parents got to, whatever. And so it took quite a long time, but we've actually then instituted, and we've hired all the staff people to be able to do this work, so we can catch any of these problems very early on, so that they don't have learning disabilities as they get older.
That's wonderful. That's very cool. Blue Ribbon Task Force. South City Council had you kind of in charge of that. Before we get into the LGBT community, I wanted to touch on that. Are you still part of this Blue Ribbon Task Force, and what exactly is that for anybody who's listening?
Well, we've created any number of Blue Ribbon Task Force, but we've certainly had one on jail reform here at the county, looking at all of that, which was because of the Michael Tyree murder in the jails. So we were certainly very involved with that. But we've had any number of those, and I've always been fortunate at the city and the county level to have my colleagues appoint me to these committees and do the extra work.
I love asking the questions and playing dumb. I promise I'm really not that dumb, but most importantly, for somebody who's thinking in their mind, I still don't get it. What is a Blue Ribbon Task Force exactly? That's exactly why I asked those questions. That way can, what exactly is that? So essentially a council that, what is the functioning?
Well, it's what it really means is that there's been an issue that has come up that needs extra attention by either the board or the city council, and that they
ethical issues primarily, or no? It could be any issue.
It could be any issue. I know that at the city, when we were having some ethical issues with some of our council members, we had to establish a Blue Ribbon committee. But we did the same thing here with the jails, and so that was a little different. But you're able then to appoint community members as well, and one or two of the elected officials sort of to work as a body and put in extra amount of time to sort of come up with a solution to whatever issue has been created.
Matter of integrity and transparency, and that's another thing you incorporated on Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors. So not only did you say follow the money, check those credit cards, but also have live stream throughout Santa Clara County Board. When was that moved?
I think it was
late 2000.
I think about 2010 here. When I became board chair, I was certainly aware of the fact that we had you couldn't webcast.
Right.
And
And this is not just for transparency. This is for access.
Yeah, I mean,
this is to get people more involved, get people more engaged.
Right. And and you can sort of scratch your head and go, well, how come we don't have that?
Yeah.
And so I got the board to be able to pass it. We got the money allocated,
and it might incorporate people to show up more.
Absolutely. Or if they can't make it, they can know. Or if they want to, review the tapes later, they can do that as well. So
realistically, people have lives. They're stuck from their 9 to 5. For them to still be able to have access to these type of things is very, very important. Yeah. So as we wrap up, I want to shift to, you're looking at a pioneer, a fighter in the LGBT community. I was there at SV Pride as well, the honorees there. So let's go back first. I really want to commend you, and I think it's pretty awesome where I read that, there's some rhetoric going on in '84 San Jose Mercury News, and you took it as a positive point instead of looking at it in a negative way to say, oh, by the way, I'm an openly gay man, right? And I'm a decision maker and so forth, and put yourself out there. And I feel that takes a level of confidence, self-awareness, especially for a politician, because people are so constantly worried. Obviously, Ken, I got a filter. I don't care what anyone thinks, right? I'm going to be open. I'm going to be honest in a polite, respectful way. First off, I commend you for that. Number two, that took some courage at the time, right? That might be in the background with these guys going, don't do that, Ken, that's a PR nightmare, right? But I think in the end, being honest, being authentic, being transparent, people respect that. People love that. What was going through your mind then? Well, first off, we shouldn't give any attention to whatever rhetoric was going on, but obviously this was a response to, if you could just elaborate a little on that.
Yeah, someone had written an article in the Mercury News, basically saying that gay people were so contemptible that they shouldn't have any rights whatsoever. This was before laws saying that you couldn't discriminate based on sexual orientation had been passed, and that basically our society didn't even need or want gay people because, again, they were so despicable. Right. And at that point, I wasn't out to everybody, and certainly very involved in politics. But I realized as I was reading that paper that Sunday morning that if I didn't stand up for myself, nobody else would.
Right.
And it's been obviously a philosophy I've carried with me all my life. That
guess what? There was hundreds of others you were speaking for.
Yeah, right? And that even though it might hurt me politically, right, professionally, economically, any number of ways, that the most basic thing is your own rights and you being a fighter for what you know is right, and being able to accept the consequences of when you do that. And it really then allowed me to get more active in the gay community and create a gay political organization that is still around today.
One more time, that was the one I missed. The original name was?
It's still called BAMEC, Bay Area Municipal Elections Committee, and we formed it in '84.
Mr. Yeager incorporated certain policies to include gender when it came to harassment. Was it in the workplace? Ordinances, but to make sure that gender is included or considered. It had to do with harassment. I can't remember if it's workplace. It's obviously probably in workplace. Ken has done so much and so many things. He's trying to track it. Did I do that? But yes, you did, sir. You helped with that as well. So fast forward, the first rainbow flag, and I love diversity. I think that's awesome. Is flown at San Jose City Hall.
Oh, yeah. And
I saw it when walking in today. Threw that on Snapchat and threw a pointer. Said, by the way, the gentleman I'm about to meet is one of the reasons that is there, meaning right outside of West Heading Street. So San Jose City Council, when did we have that first flag?
So I was I took office January 1, 2001, and that June, which is Gay Pride Month, was the very first time that we raised the rainbow flag at City Hall, and that actual flag is outside my office right here, framed.
That's awesome. That's what I saw.
That's what you saw.
Yes.
Yeah. So felt that was important, and I think it goes back to why it's important to elect people from all aspects of our community,
right?
Because
perspective.
Perspective and understanding that often what we do will be the first time the government has actually ever done it.
Yes.
And so you would think, oh, well, it's no big deal to raise the rainbow flag in front of City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, it must have been happening like forever.
Mm-hmm.
But then you realize, nope, nobody ever thought of it. Nobody ever did it. And so I show up here at the county in 2007, January 1, 2007, and lo and behold, the rainbow flag has never been flown here either. Mm-hmm. And so we raise it in June, and very proud that the rainbow flag flies every workday. And
is it 365?
365.
Every workday.
Yeah, and right below it is the transgender flag as well. So,
and that first time was in 2007. For that.
Yeah. That's
wonderful. So I want to talk about, and just to wrap up, I want to grab this as well, but you published, was it a book exactly?
Yeah.
So this is Trailblazers.
That's right.
And can people find that anywhere? Where can we find that?
It's out of print, but you can always.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, it is. Yes, you could try Amazon to see if people are selling it used. Perhaps
Ryan,
is one way to do it.
Get on that. We gotta make sure that's accessible. But no, it sounds like a silly question, but what gave you that? Was it always in your mind that, you know what, I want to write a book? What was the inspiration kind of behind the book? Did it take a while? Was it a quick process, or was this something you've always journaled? Or what can people expect?
At this point, I had been elected to the community college board, and but I was always interested in openly gay elected officials. How did they maneuver the political waters?
And we're slowly seeing athletes now, and that controversy.
It's not.
Check out my talk with James Gonzalez. Imagine being a police officer. Imagine being on patrol and the type of alpha male stuff that goes on there. And that was a pretty brilliant conversation with him, because obviously he's just as equipped. He's just as good. But to say that there's not going to be some back talk, or people are going to say, I don't want to be on patrol with him, that he didn't have to go through some adversity, we'd be lying. So much respect to James as well, one of the first openly gay police officers there. But back to the book.
Yeah, so I was just curious of how these folks had done it, and what kind of issues they worked on once they got elected, and what their lives were like. So I traveled the country and interviewed people throughout the country, and spent 2 or 3 days with them in their homes to sort of learn about them, and then wrote it up. And so there's a chapter on each person in the book. And looking back on
document.
And
you're essentially like your own Buddha, where you went and traveled countries to actually talk.
And at that point, and again, we're going back to the mid-'90s, there'd only been 100 openly gay people elected to any office in the entire United States. And so I thought it was a pretty unique sort of group of people, and just wanted to know how they did it.
Yeah, that's what better way? Find out who the best is, surround yourself by them, learn with them. Germany had some stuff going on. I know I popped into my head. Was Germany just passing legislation?
To allow gay marriage.
Okay, so they're just at that
just
point.
now.
Interesting.
Just now.
And we got there in California. I felt like it was 2011. I'm guessing 2012. But that's crazy that in 2001, 2002, such a gap that actually took that long. Correct me on that?
Well, yes. Well, the California Supreme Court allowed gay marriages, but that they only for 6 months until Prop 8 passed, which stopped it.
Got it.
And then the whole issue went then to the U.S. Supreme Court, and then they allowed it everywhere.
And while we're on that, how many marriages are you at? You've been
over 100.
Tell us about that.
Over 100. So yeah, when there were the 2 periods of time, as I said, but when the U.S. Supreme Court allowed it, which then made it legal in California again. This building, which is where you can get your marriage license and also get married, we just had couples everywhere, and so on the next day after, I married 26 couples, awesome. Same-sex couples here in the office, because as a county supervisor, I have the authority to be a marriage commissioner. Awesome. And so I was able to do that.
You keep going with that.
Going with that.
Anybody getting married coming up? you know who to call.
There you go.
Right, he's got some.
You can get married in my office if you want.
That's wonderful.
With
Speaking of, there was an LGBT office center, some type created.
Office of LGBT Affairs.
Okay.
We're the only.
And for anybody who might be listening, where could they find that? I apologize.
Well, again, if you can always go onto the county webpage,
Okay.
or you can go onto my webpage, and it's all pretty easy to find. But we are the only county in the United States that has such an office. There are a couple cities that have it, but it really just sort of shows that we need to pay attention to all of our diverse groups here, and
they need to know they have resources and places that they can go and that they're not alone, right? They have that common ground. So just to wrap up, what's
but before we wrap up,
please,
but maybe we can talk about the painting that is right behind us.
Yes, let's do it.
Isn't that cool?
Babyland Furniture.
West Carlos. This is West San Carlos and Bascom, very famous corner, maybe because the pink poodle is there. But this is about two blocks from my house. So I've represented this area on the city council,
District 4,
and I had met this painter because he had done some paintings that are over on the other wall, and so I asked him if he could capture this because time changes, and I've been very involved in trying to keep any number of the signs that we have, and one of the big things we did was to save the
very from a marketing perspective. It's a vintage San Jose.
Right. But you know the carousel that they have at Cambrian Park Plaza, we were able to save that.
Right.
And trying to do some others.
Zoom in on Pink
Get
Poodle.
on that.
I laughed out loud because think of my immigrant father. There was this inside joke, but I heard him yelling one time and says, "Don't think I don't know where the pink poodle is," okay? But aside from that, inappropriate Roman, the most important thing is the history of San Jose and West.
And this is in particular, but nothing stays forever. And so, I mean, like even now, Time Deli is closed. Babyland, of course,
Old School Orchard Supply Hardware
has been bought out, and Mel Cotton's is gone as well. So anyway, we're really trying to do whatever we can.
Is this McDonald's?
O.C. McDonald's, yeah.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome? So anyway, it's I enjoy having it here, and again because all the time we're
and we can pretty much see all of San Jose here. I'll show you guys in a second. Look, there's literally a fire going on somewhere, and we can see it poofing out.
There is
from us
something going on over
here. So. Mr. Yeager, obviously, it's a pleasure and honor to have you. What is next for you, sir? I know there's some competition out there. God bless them. You got some serious shoes you're up against. If you really know this man, that's the goal of this. You really accomplish a lot, sir. And I said it to Magdalena. I don't kiss butt. I only give credit where credit is due. And I just wanted to say thank you as well for everything you've done way back when from 96 on to here, because we don't realize it enough. But even if you've made a significant change in one's life, how many people can say they actually done that in their life, right?
Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Very cool. Why not travel the world and read more books? You're not done yet. You want to keep going. And if you don't feel comfortable telling us, you don't have to. But is the plan to take higher heights up there, or you want to stay local? You'd like to stay in your community where you're at? Any thoughts on that yet?
Well, I certainly have enjoyed working at the local level. You can do things. You can really have a more immediate impact than you can in Sacramento and in Washington. But certainly, and I've a year and a half left here at the county and plan to do a lot of things. So I'll sort of see what my options are. Certainly, state senate in 2020 is something I'm seriously looking at.
Nice.
But we'll also see what other options are out there.
Don't worry, Mr. Yeager, when I become the president of the United States, I'm going to make you the head of something. Okay, we're going to work on that.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
No, and then so you're a triathlete in your free time. There's a beast. I'm a former college athlete. I played basketball at San Francisco State as well. Anything that you're doing, any personal goals? That's the hardest part, is we got to set those little personals. I'm going to complete X, or we don't get anything done, right? For any triathletes listening out there, is it just business this year, or anything that you're actively doing as far as athletics?
Well, I started off being a marathon runner, but I think my marathon days are over, and so then I transitioned into triathlon.
Don't make me look up some 65-year-old beast and send you a picture and say, now what? But swim is awesome. Did you do that as well?
Yeah, I did a lot of the open water swims, and a lot of swims around the pier for all the triathlons in Santa Cruz.
Isn't that incredible? Not just Santa Cruz, but people going to Alcatraz and back.
Yes, I have no desire to swim off of Alcatraz.
But people once said it was insane, and now people just do it. It kind of goes back to the 4-minute mile, right? It couldn't be done. One person breaks it. Hundreds break it the day after, right?
Yeah.
It's just
mental.
it's a mental of actually breaking those limits. But with that said, we'll be hanging out with Ken again. I just want to say it was a pleasure and honor. Thank you for being so open, allowing me into your home. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Roman Nahal. This is Ken Yeager, Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, District 4, and it was a pleasure. We'll see you again.
It was a pleasure. Thanks, Roman. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Ken. Very cool. Very cool. I have some